The Salt Dip Podcast, taking life, business, and adventure with just a pinch of salt.
Hello and welcome back to the most recent podcast of the Salt Dip Podcast. So we like to combine, we being me, royal we for some reason there, different topics about life, business and water, just to, really tap into what it is that we can learn from different spaces. And one thing I've been thinking about this morning is, in particular, when we are looking at business at the moment and what it might actually have in common with riding waves. This AI wave that we're on is quite an interesting space to start with. I mean, it's been very interesting to see how it's come into play, how it's developed since then, how people are feeling about it, how they're using it in their business, how they're avoiding it sometimes. Like, these are all part of the conversation. And there's a lot of fantastic people out there in business, marketers, systems people who are also talking about what's going to happen with AI, and that it is going to be a bubble which bursts at some point. It's far too expensive for the upkeep of the data centers that run these AIs. For it to actually be long term, it's almost sort of begs the question as to, is there an actual point in getting involved in it? Number one, which I think a lot of people are feeling, especially if they're feeling hesitant towards the technology. And then also the other side is, if you don't, you might be left behind because other companies are. And even if it's going to just be for a short stint, it's going to help them get ahead in business in this time. And then, as all bubbles do, it will pop and we will move on, which also means that all these businesses focus in on AI integration and learning may have a bit of a shelf life. It's going to be very interesting for space to see that. And I think it's been phenomenal how it's come in, like I said, those different waves, where we were a bit skeptical about it, happy it was here, made our life easier, and now we're almost going back to a bit of humanizing, especially in the marketing space. We've got to humanize our content so that it really connects with the people that we want to be talking to. But there's still space for it to help get us where we need to go. It's a little bit like getting on a surfboard and just taking a good paddle out and enjoying what is happening in the water and reading those waves. I mean, you are constantly sitting in the water going, is this wave right for me? No, that one's going to close out. We call it up, all of it just sort of breaks at the same time. You might not be in the right position for the peak because it does move, and it's a constant reading. And of course, there's opportunities as well where the perfect wave is there and you just hesitated for too long and weren't able to catch it. Unfortunately, that is a big part of it. And it also made me think of business and these opportunities that we get, like AI. Sometimes it can feel that we are letting ourselves down by not jumping on every single opportunity, even if it looks perfect and it looks amazing. Maybe you weren't ready, maybe you weren't paddling hard enough, or whatever it might be. These opportunities do sometimes just roll past us. So I think what's really lovely about comparing that to the ocean is being able to go, well, if you didn't jump on this bandwagon, the next one will be coming. Something else will come. Another opportunity will come. More connections will come. It's just about finding the right waves and reading them and being able to jump onto them as well. And I think our AI is a big part of this. I think it's a wave that we shouldn't be missing in business. It's something that we really is key that we now go and tap into what is happening in the market. Now, I mean, we've got AI agents for almost anything these days, from automation to navigating geopolitical situations. And sometimes, we've shifted into a operating reality where it is being integrated into businesses at different rates and helping speed up production. So it really is sort of that digital transformation and a question around our businesses of, are we happy with how they're running? Do we believe that the way they're currently running is future-proofed enough? I always think that there's got to be some shift and some lean into what it is that's currently happening in the trends. I probably would never be described as an early adapter or a first adapter. So because I do like a little bit of social proof. And then as soon as I've got that, I can go, okay, yes, I can see how that would be beneficial. Let's go and do that. We've got to take that into account with our businesses and how we are setting things up as well. That we're just going, what can we take from this and what will work for our business? And if you come back and you go, you know what, actually we're perfectly fine the way we are, at least you've looked at it. I might be a little bit doubtful about that these days, just because of all the different kinds of tasks that AI can do. I mean, it's been quite amazing actually using it to compare, maybe not databases are the wrong words, but sort of, being able to say, listen, I'm looking for this kind of business in this kind of an area. and cross-reference that with the kinds of business people who'd be interested in that, and getting those results has been very, very, very interesting. And also, that's something that would have taken hours of research. So there's definitely a space where it can cut down some of your research time. We're seeing in the marketing space, I love how the whole video and photo AI space is developing and generating. I think it does answer some problems that we can have, especially when we're working to business budgets. And then, of course, with the big one that's been getting a lot of attention has been sort of the writing and getting content out onto social media now being so much easier than ever before. But at the same time, typically what people are doing are sort of copying and pasting it across with maybe very little alteration to the text, which is starting to put people off. I mean, the algorithms are all changing specifically to help with navigating that and making sure that you are getting algorithms are working really well in that space to give us a good sense of what we should be doing rather than just using, ChatGPT or Grok or Claude or whatever it is that you are using as your main tool. We need that opportunity to just look at it and go, where can we bring the human back into our businesses? Because that's very much what we're getting off of social media, right? We do business with people we like, know, and trust. And once we've built a bit of a rapport with them, then they're more likely to do business with us. So how can we be doing that on social media? And the answer is really the personal brand, because you get that opportunity to talk about yourself and the business, the problem you solve, and connect properly with your audiences. Now, it's a definite space where small and medium businesses have got flexibility that corporates or larger entities maybe don't have, with being able to pivot as quickly. Also see, and there's a running conversation with multi-location businesses like franchises. It's like, how much humanization and authentic content is good to measure against the costs that would come up with creating that. Because if you've got 100 locations, you don't necessarily want to have separate content for every single store, because the message is the same. You're selling the same product, but at the same time, there should be some personalization and that humanizing element to it. So yeah, I think very important things for you to be thinking about. How are you using AI? Are you actually tapping into it yet? If you have tapped into it, have you tapped into it far too strongly? And you need to maybe reel that back. I'm talking about the content, the written content that we see on social media in particular. Though I don't think that the imaging and the video will be very far behind as it is advancing all the time. So definitely ones that we can keep in mind. But question yourself and go, what is it that needs to come out of this? And is this a wave that we need to get on for our business? And if it is, maybe it's a small wave, maybe it's just a little addition to the business to make it run a little bit smoother. Maybe it's a far larger project because you can see how you could actually scale your business while using some great AI tools and insights and information. Hopefully that's given you something to think about, riding those waves in business at the moment, particularly the AI wave. And what can you do for your business, which is actually going to serve you well. Thanks so much for joining me today. Our next interview, just so you know what we're going to be doing, is Leanne from Lumino. She's a fantastic graphic designer who you will need to consider working with. We work with her all the time, and what she does for brands and businesses like ours and our clients is really just the next level when it comes to conceptual design work and actual problem solving for the business. So if that sounds interesting to you, pop by and check out the next interview.